Crisp afternoons, everybody. Welcome back to the World Series of Board Gaming 2025. I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Cliff Flash.
And we are here at the finale, which is the oldest game in the tournament. It's actually the oldest game anyone plays here, and that is Acquire. 1963, designed by Sid Saxon. And this is the game that is for all the money. $25,000 to first place, which is one of these four people. They're starting to pull their opening hands and get ready. So while they're doing that, let's meet the four people who are playing and talk about them. So here we are. In a moment. Oh. Give us 1 second. Alan. Okay. So Alan, he won Ra first time through, which is my favorite game in the tournament personally, and just came out of the semifinals having won the Dune Imperium Uprising. Dune Imperium Uprising replacing Dune from last year, and this is his second time here. Then next we have
Daniel. Daniel won Great Western Trail this year. This is his first World Series and therefore his first final table. He has pretty much just crushed everyone for the games he's played. He said he had a rough start on the first couple days and then ran right through the Great Western Trail field on some tough games and then won his brass semifinal to qualify for the final table. So that is Daniel.
And then next we have Austin. Austin, this is his first time here actually, and he won Heat the first time through. And then if you were watching us live, he just won a pretty close game of White Castle, which was new to the tournament this year and one of our semifinal games.
And then Andrew Law. If you watch the World Series, you know Andrew Law. He has won Arc Nova all 3 years that it's been in the field and that he has played it, which is an unbelievable feat. You can't expect ever to win the same ring 3 times in a row. And then he won in his semifinal game a Lost Ruins and Arcanac game that was very tough with a really good table there. And so he's going to be a tough one to watch out for. He's really good at counting and keeping track of stuff, which is what Acquire's all about.
Now, each of them won 4 games. They're in their ring for the 16 games. And then they went and played in 4 semifinal games. All those games were basically eliminated. How did we get to the final game? We have a video that's going to show you real quick how we got to Acquire.
We're going to go play Acquire.
So that's how we ended up at Acquire. They vetoed other games, and then now we have this.
Kind of an unexpected choice, actually. Acquire was never one I thought would be the final game.
It's exciting. I'm glad that they didn't veto it, and I'm glad we get to watch it, because I really like Acquire personally. Looks like on turn 1, Alan got the best first draw, so he was able to make the first play, and he was able to merge a company and start a new company, and he started Festival. So that's the green company. That's a mid-level company. His 2 hopes are that he has stock in that he picks up for free. When you merge a company, you get a free stock. And then he wants to either have that eaten early to be money generation for him and get a big, easy payout. When a company is merged, if you are the majority shareholder, you immediately get, if you're eaten up by another company, you immediately get free money, essentially, whether you're majority or second. If you are third or fourth, that's a bad spot to be. That's not the dream position. Then you can trade those stocks into the bigger company, and you can make some money that way to fund your later game. Looks like Austin also made a company, and he also made a mid-level company. Looks like he made American. So, and then they both just bought 3 stocks in their own company. So they've got 2 lines of play since they're right next to each other. That's a pretty crazy opening. They could eat each other, and then the person who plays the tile that merges them gets to choose which company survives
So
and which
eat
one leaves.
is the actual terminology.
That's how it works in the business world.
I've always wondered that.
And then Seat 3 is also merged a company. So these guys are just good at Acquire, is what I'm seeing early. You wanna create mergers and you want to get free stuff. I'm a little surprised they both bought all of their stocks, but maybe they They were worried somebody might compete with them right away. There weren't a lot of companies on the board, and they clearly are going to those two companies are going to run into each other, I would expect, fairly quickly between American and Festival. Daniel here is creating the orange company that's Imperial in this version, so that's an expensive company, and it's unlikely to get eaten. So that would be a play you're making for the end of the game.
So the order that these are listed in here is the value of the company, Saxon being the cheapest company, which I find amusing since that's named after the designer of the game, to Imperial. And Imperial makes AI software is what I heard. Not proven.
Right here.
Nice, Andrew, nice.
And so Andrew is also merging a company right next to the Imperial. So they just all had a starter tile
That is interesting.
that was able to merge a company.
Saxon.
They do not watch any of my how to play acquire videos. Those don't exist. But I don't merge companies.
Founder share.
Well, it should be noted that nobody here
Then I will
considers
buy
themselves to be an expert at
2
acquire who's
Imperial
playing this.
stocks,
Just how the World
1
Series board gaming
Saxon
works.
stock.
Yes,
in
that's
total
it. Really
costs
tests all your
$1,000.
skills and all your abilities. And this is a game that's really going to test these players. You have somebody who's won an Azul and a Raw ring playing an acquire game that's very different. A Great Western and a Brass game, again, acquires very different. So it's really going to benefit the players that can keep track of where all the stocks are, where their majorities are, and when you have a merger tile, that's when you have power in the game. That's when you can control, and when to play that merger tile is the biggest part of the game. Because just because you can merge a company doesn't mean you should do it, because it can just give money to other players. You have a lot of control when you have those merger tiles. Sometimes when you're not in that company at all, you're just going to set it aside and you're not going to even look at it again because you know you don't want to merge them. But
Would you set it aside? Because if I saw you set it aside,
well, not actually, just in my mind, mentally set it aside.
I actually do it physically, and I always feel like I'm giving too much information to everybody else.
But what you usually do, especially in a situation like this where both the companies are next to other companies and you expect a merger early, if you have a merger tile and you have that kind of power, you're going to want to make sure you're ahead on whichever one you're going to eat. And you're also going to want to have a good amount of stock in whichever one stays the big company. Because usually in acquire, the person who wins is the person who's the biggest shareholder of the giant company. One of the ways the game ends is that a corporation gets to 41 tiles or more. So these are all little companies right now. They're all 2 tiles. They're not huge yet, but by
That's
the end of the
usually how
game,
games end, right? With the 41.
yes, it's either there's no
company.
legal plays and all the companies are safe, or it gets to 41.
Or there's
and
2
somebody
big
calls
companies,
it.
2 or 3 left over.
Sometimes, yes. Sometimes there's 2, 3. I think is pretty rare, but often there's one that's the king. And if you're not heavily in that one and you haven't somehow made a ton of money in other mergers throughout the game, it's extremely difficult to win.
So Alan he has American and Festival now. Would you do that, or would you try to get invested in one of the other 2 companies that you're not about to fight with?
To me, that tells me that he might have a merger tile. That when he's diversifying his stuff, he wants to be first and or second when those companies run into each other. He may have a merger, or he just may be playing some safety net that if another player merges those together, he gets an immediate payout, whichever way it goes.
Because
even if he
Austin
doesn't have
didn't do that.
control.
He bought in the other companies across the board.
Right. So that's interesting. They're definitely staying in their own lanes right now is kind of how I would describe it. Early acquire is definitely about acquiring stocks, but they should be the right stocks where you spend your money. This is like a really good play from Daniel. He has a 1A tile that of course only opens 2 possible things that could create a free merger for someone else and give him another stock. So if I can't make a merger, right, I want to play on the edge of the board. Somebody played in the center of the board here. That's maybe
You would do
because
that
they-
over playing one that you have a tile to put next to it yourself?
If I have a run in the center of the board, it's looking like that's only going to help Americans. So that would really depend on where my stock in American is. If I can create a company that's going to get eaten up quickly there, then yes, I might try and wheel that around if I have 2 tiles, but I would not play that tile in the center of the board if I didn't have a connector for sure.
Okay.
Because it's just so likely, you're giving 4 spots away. Well, 3 in this case, because otherwise it would just add to American. But you can see that the other players are playing on the edge of the board, right? They're playing all the way in the 12 column. We're playing 1A. I don't have something efficient for me that I want to do, I'm going to make it as few options for the next player as I can. I think that's pretty
6D.
typical acquire play.
I'm going to
Yes.
See,
Continental.
so there we go. I didn't see if Andrew put
Vanish here.
that
Founder
down
here.
first to create that merger, but if it was someone else that opened this up for Andrew, they opened a play for it.
To buy
So it looks like Alan probably did that
stocks.
middle play. Austin made that play in the middle. Okay.
So-
So Andrew's now benefiting from that, which is what I was saying, why I might not put that tile in the middle.
Got it. I'm learning then. If you're watching this for the first time, haven't watched many of these games, you're seeing them pass around a little card. It says WSBG at the top. That's a procedural card that kind of reminds you to finish your turn, but when you pass that, your turn is officially over. Is it when you let go of the card?
Yeah, it's once you've fully passed it, which in Acquire you also Acquire. It's a well-designed game, has that built into the game because you draw a tile to signify the end of your turn, and your turn's not over. And once you draw that tile, then that means your turn is over. But we do both here at the World Series. We're going to pass the card as well and the bag. And look, Andrew's a veteran. He wins so much, he knows to pass the card. He bought more Saxon, so he is heavily invested in Saxon. And then he got just his one free Continental, which now is Alan is growing before anybody has any stock in it, which what that does, when you add that third tile on a Continental, that's a big faction. That's one of the more expensive companies. So growing that is making everything they buy, whoever buys Continental for the rest of the game is spending more money on that. That is interesting that they both played into that. That to me signals that Alan wants his company, his American stocks to get taken over so he can turn them into more valuable Continental stocks. That's just trading up and he's going to get an immediate payout. He's only got he actually has a one stock disadvantage right now. So he's making that play, which is somewhat helping Austin more than himself. So that's interesting as well.
Someone asked in the chat what games were vetoed, and it was Earth, Wingspan, and Terraforming Mars.
That's
Actually,
right.
was surprised at Wingspan. Not surprised at Earth or Terraforming Mars. Actually, I'm surprised Acquire wasn't vetoed again. So
Yeah, there were a lot of good games that could have been pulled. I like Acquire. I'm excited to see these guys try and play some Acquire. Again, it's none of their best games.
Andrew lost the Wingspan semifinal last year. Maybe he vetoed it. Yeah, we actually, unless you go ask people, never know because we mix the chips up, so you don't know he vetoes what. I know one of them because I was just watching. My eagle eyes.
You paid 1,500 so far.
So Austin looks like he's buying more
Please use the math.
American or Continental. It's the blue one, Continental. Okay. Sorry, there's a lot of versions of this game, and all the colors and names are the same and different. So they're the
Yes,
same
they
name
are.
or different colors, or the same color but a different value. And so you need to know which copy you're playing with Acquire.
Or just stick with just breathe and live on this chart here.
Sorry.
There's actually two modes that comes with this, the classic mode and the tycoon mode. They're playing classic.
So the
Right.
Saxon will keep. So we should. You want Saxon
We have a
to stay, or you
merger,
want
the
Imperial
first
to
merger
stay?
created,
Saxon to stay. All right.
So red and orange, Saxon and Imperial.
and it's
So the
Austin's
show all
turn
your-
that has
everybody's got
created this
Imperial show all
merger?
your full.
Three.
Full.
Daniel created the merger. Okay.
Take that red card.
And that makes sense. He was one of the original founders down there. He has stock in those. He gets to control which way it goes if he wants to make his
So primary, you got
stocks more
4,000,
valuable. And it
you
looks
get
like they're
2,000
selling
plus-
the
Oh, yeah,
tower,
4,000.
the orange cheaper company.
Yeah, that makes sense because he doesn't have any
Imperial. They're selling Imperial.
of that. Right.
Full.
2,000.
So Daniel has the lead in Imperial, so he's going to get the bigger payout. It'll also be interesting to see
And
if
then I will
he
keep this stock.
he's going to keep his stock. That's what I was just going to say. It's interesting to see what he does with it. He believes that company is going to come back. He believes 4 is
It's
going
a
to
very legit thing. There's so much room left on that board.
right.
So that
he
company
knows
could easily come back.
he knows that he's going to have 4 with, even if somebody else creates that company, they get a free stock and they spend their whole turn to buy that stock. He's still getting paid out a split between them for top and secondary.
Your first company you build, what color
I
is
will
it?
sell this stock.
You go for big or small?
I go for big.
400
I
each.
personally like the bigger companies. I feel like
400.
it pays out great if it grows, and
800
it
in total.
pays out great if it gets merged early. That's the way I like to play. But I get second a lot, so it might not be the correct way to do it. It's just the way I like to do it. It makes sense to me logically. Andrew is getting his payout here, and I don't think he said what he's doing with his 2 stocks yet.
Oh, he got rid of his.
Just sold.
Yeah, everyone else kept theirs, but
Just
Andrew
straight
sold.
cashed out.
Clean this up.
And I
Hey,
sold them all.
that's an interesting play early.
So I get.
Didn't turn him into Saxon. That probably 2 for 1 there probably wouldn't have made a ton of sense. But it didn't seem like he needed the money this early. So, and he already just got a secondary payout, so that surprises me a little bit. But he is really good at games and a smart cookie, so I'm gonna guess he has a plan.
Moment. I need to.
Oh, and Alan also got rid of his. So Daniel's the only person.
Right? That's gonna, I believe that's gonna pay off. The next company Daniel merges or creates, I'm gonna guess that's gonna be Imperial.
Yeah, but no one else is going to touch it.
900.
Yeah, he's gonna have to do the work for himself. Yep.
How many are on the board? 4?
100.
There's 4 companies on the
4
board.
companies on the board. Yep. Yeah,
So
we
we
still
got-
got Saxon, Continental, American, and Festival.
So Tower, Worldwide, and Imperial are not on the board.
Right. Exactly. And that you often get into a position where even if you know Imperial's going to help the next guy, still making a company and getting a free stock and taking my second place in it is if I have the option to do it, I might as well do it because the next guy might do it, you know?
Right.
So Continental's starting to be a king in the
All
center
caps.
here. Saxon now actually is the biggest company, and Andrew's going to create a new company.
He's going
And he's going to found the Imperial
Founder share.
after he got rid of his 2 shares.
That's a weird move.
I don't know. And he had this tile before his turn started, and he knew that was an available merger on that side of the board.
I will buy
And it's the same
3
size, so
American stocks.
those stocks are not different.
They
But he
are-
also,
300.
okay, I see what he did here. He knew he was going to merge this company on the right side of the board, and it's got no one around it. And so he said, okay,
Pay
Daniel, you
1,000.
kept your 4 Imperial. I'm going to get my 1 cheap, terrible
Got it.
one. And this
100
this
exchange.
company is going to sit in the corner of the board,
Get my
be a little
American stocks.
2-piece,
Yeah.
and your stocks are probably terrible.
My stocks.
That's totally what Andrew did. That's
Draw a new
absolutely
tile.
how he thinks, and a really smart move. That is really impressive. Usually you start a company for yourself, but that is a really good block on Daniel there.
I'm going to count this.
Sure.
And okay.
And you have the option, this Alan's doing this now, you have the option in Acquire to count any of the available stocks left over at any time. What's important to know is that there's 25 stocks of every company when you start. When you create the company, you always get a free one,
Right.
and you can buy 3 on every one of your turns. And you don't have to have already started one. There's no rule of what you can buy other than there has to be some left in that area. So keeping track of who has what, I'm not a good enough player to keep track of every stock in the board. Brent, who's going to come in later, will tell you how that works.
I'm going to buy 3 shares.
I
of
keep
Imperial.
Well, it requires a lot of memory.
Right, I keep track of what I have and who's fighting me. So if I'm in Continental a lot, I'm gonna know where all those stocks are, but I don't always keep track of where all the stocks are.
Well, back in the day, in the late '90s, early aughts, there was a lot of argument on the internet. This was before we argued over stupider stuff about open versus closed stocks. A lot of people insist that open is the only way to play because keeping it closed gives an advantage to people with a better memory.
That's absolutely true. I see both sides of that argument.
I'm a fan of graphs. I want this graph posted near the board and just tells me how many stocks everybody has.
That's a good way to do it for sure. Color coded even, so you're even less likely to make a mistake.
I bring in someone who's not even playing a game. Your job, just keep us all informed. Thank you.
But that's how it works. And so these players, obviously, they don't have the graph. They don't have that information. It's what they're keeping track of. The other thing I do for if you find Acquire interesting, you want to try it out. It's been around a really long time, probably because it's a good game. If you decide you want to give that a try, a thing I do that you shouldn't do, don't fall in love with your company. Just because you created it and the game gave you 1 free stock doesn't mean you have to fight to the death and spend every dollar you have to get the lead in it. Sometimes it's okay to let a bad company go. Continental's growing in the center of the board again. Saxon's growing on the left side of the board. That 5 to 6 area bumps it into a new pay chart. So that makes it more valuable.
I just
if
always
and
find
when-
it tricky to decide where to really push into one company. Like Austin just really big in American now, or to spread out between a bunch.
Yeah,
I know that whichever one I choose is always the wrong for that particular game.
yeah, you want to have the most in the Endgame 41. It's the best and easiest way to win. You can actually miss. It's hard to understand. You can miss buying stocks in the middle of the game. You can just take turns that essentially are doing nothing. If you have a lot of money and dominant position with the big company, that's a strong place to be, even if you're not buying stocks. They played another one, and see, Daniel's now countering that same move Andrew did. He's trying to build a chain to get his Imperial back in the game. He's played a piece over there, kind of in the center of the board, hoping somebody's like, gosh, I can make a company over there, and then that's going to be right next to the Imperial that he
So
kept
then
his
he
four
would then
stocks on.
deliberately. You can merge your company, deliberately get rid of it, so you can restart it somewhere else.
Absolutely, exactly. Or I think what he's doing right now, it's unlikely that you often have 2 tiles that go together. That doesn't happen very often in your 6-tile hand. I think what he's doing is incentivizing other players, like, hey, this board's really terrible for you to create a company. It's really difficult to do that. Do you want to create a company? How about right over here where it benefits me with my Imperial? That seems like a place you should start a company. And I think that's a really good tile play for an early empty board.
There's a big chunk of the board that has nothing in it though, which is unusual because usually it's a little bit more spread out. That's a lot of
18.
empty space. And for red being starting on the side of the board, it's doing pretty well.
I think, it was happy that Imperial was down there next to it. Those two are both happy that.
Well, 6 is the
Companies.
magic number. You want your company to get to 6 tiles because that's when you get some good money.
Well, and 11 makes you safe. Your company can't be taken, or sometimes that's a bad thing, but your company can't be absorbed by another company once it's at 11. That makes it safe on the board. It's going to be there till the end of the game. And important to note, even if you're not the biggest at the end of the game, you still get paid out, but it doesn't happen until end game scoring. And obviously most money is the way you score at the end of the game. In this case, if you end up with one of those big companies and all your stocks are in there early, that's where your money is stuck. And now look, Daniel's play is working out exactly what he wants to happen. Alan has created a company
Sure. Sure.
and he's put purple on it,
I'm
which
going
is
to buy 2
makes it look
American.
hard to see,
one
but that's
festival.
worldwide.
American
And that's right next to Imperial. So Daniel made a really good play. Andrew made a really good play, and then Daniel made a really good play to kind of find a way out of his position. So that's really cool. And Alan is the beneficiary of those two kind of going at it a little bit. Just had the tile, creates a company, probably was looking at his tile after Imperial got built like, oh, this is terrible.
Well, I would buy a bunch of worldwide now. Wouldn't that make sense? If you think that's what's going to happen?
Well, it depends who's going to create the merger. Because likely Daniel is going to use Worldwide to take over his Imperial if he can. And he's going to then put Imperial back in the board in a better position for himself and just get a quick payout because he's the only one with a significant stock. What did Alan buy after he created Worldwide is a big part of that. So nobody's has Worldwide. Obviously, it's only been on the board for one piece, but he did not buy any Worldwide. So he did not go hard into it. So yes, I would look at buying some Worldwide. Of course, it depends on the tiles I have, right? If I feel like I have some control, especially if you have that tile between the Imperial and the Worldwide here, you have a lot of power. You can just wait on that tile because it's the only one that merges any of them, and you can build up your stock hand of whatever you want to win, however you want to sell it, and then you play it in 2 or 3 turns, and you control how the money flows.
How is American for how small that company is? We're just waiting for Continental to gobble it.
Everybody is expecting Festival and Continental to take it, and nobody wants to do it until it benefits them the most. So everybody keeps buying more and more of it. Really, we have Austin and Daniel and Alan all in a fight for getting the majority, and that's the worst place to be if you end up in that 3rd place. You do not want that to get merged when you don't have the most. Austin here, I think, is buying 3 Worldwide, so he is taking your advice, and
Oh yeah,
maybe
good
he.
point. All 25 are out for American.
Right. Yep, that is a very good point. That's very important. Andrew having 3 is just stocks other people don't have. So when that gets merged, that's going to be a big tipping point in this game for these players. And now we have Daniel counting Festival, so he knows that he is behind in Festival. He's going to be able to look at his own stocks and get that count, even if he wasn't keeping track, which I'm sure he probably was. And he's gonna want to eat his Imperial if he has that tile. If I think he might have already played it if he had it. He could be waiting to set up another play too, though, where he puts a tile down in the bottom chunk of the board where he knows he can create another good company. For
Well, so no
himself.
one wants to play a tile down there because they're afraid someone else will merge it. But what if you have 2 tiles that are next to each other? Is it worth it then?
It's still in that big empty chunk. That company is just going to be so slow growing, and you're not going to make money out of it for so long. Like if I have, what is it? I is the lowest one. If I'm in that bottom middle chunk of the board, it's going to be a really long time before even if I have 2 of them and I play one and then I play the other. Sweet, I got my free share. Now what's happening? No one's going to get it for a long time. So another thing Daniel did that's smart here is he's made Worldwide bigger, so it opens up another Imperial, and Imperial is now no choice for the other players. If they eat Imperial, that's going to benefit him and pay him out. But if I play 2 tiles in the bottom, and even if I play my next 3 turns building it one at a time, yes, that grows it in value, but it doesn't actually do anything for me. It's not going to get gobbled up quick and pay me out, which is the name of the early game. I want my company on the board. I want somebody who's inexperienced to just say, oh, sweet, I can get a free 1,000 and then pay me a quick 2,000. And then I use that money to buy the stocks, and then I trade into the big company that I believe is gonna control the
Still
game.
waiting for this to happen to the Dice Tower. Come on, someone buy me out. Saxon. I know you're looking.
Saxon. None of them had a great experience with it.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised they're playing fairly quickly. Things are getting done. No one's really pausing too long.
Another great thing about Acquire is on other players' turns, you're looking at your tiles, right? You have not much else to do. So you have a general idea of what you're going to want to do.
I will get my founder share. I'm going to buy with
That's another
$100 each, so it's
good
almost
play
$1,200
for Andrew
by
to
three
create
Imperials.
tower right in between those guys. That's almost certainly going to be free money for him, and he has control because he gets the free share. If somebody
You think did he buy 3 more?
looks like he's going to go into Imperial,
Huh.
he's gonna he
See, on my
tried to
next turn, I
counter
would buy 3 yellows.
he
right?
tried to counter Daniel early.
Sucks.
With by putting the Imperial in the corner and selling his earlier, and now he's just accepted the fact that Imperial is going to get eaten by Worldwide, and so he's hoping that happens before Daniel gets another turn, and then they're going to share the 4 each. So now he's kind of just said, all right, I put this in a tough spot, that didn't work out, I'm just going to bite the bullet and buy these stocks back so that money essentially he got exactly what he just paid. But now Alan's made it bigger, so now he just made money on that investment. And now again,
But
Worldwide.
why did Alan do that?
I don't know.
Well, why not?
Alan has 1 share in Worldwide and no shares in Imperial. He could be tile stuck where he doesn't have a great play and he feels this is the least bad
That's
option.
true. I've been in that situation
of a
before.
bad choice. But I don't see the benefit for him there. He has a little bit in Worldwide, but he didn't buy more. And so for him, it's a little better if Worldwide gets eaten than Imperial, but not enough to make Imperial just pay out at the next level on the more expensive stock. That's a tough play for me to understand from the seat right now.
Well, Alan did buy yellow, which I would have pushed to do.
Yes, I think that makes a lot of sense. I'm interested that Andrew created that yellow company and just said 1's enough. Because he probably figures people are going to buy it behind him, but he probably also thinks if they have the merger tiles, they're going to try and buy some, and he can always come over 3 over the top and still be majority before that player plays their merger tile if that's what he wants to do. So he has control, because right now with that one stock, if anybody merged it, that just benefits him. So if they have a merger, they're going to want to buy the yellows first, and then he can make a decision on his next turn. Okay, I want to buy tower and come over the top, and then I can still be best if you want to play your merger tile. Or you can say, I have more important things to do. Tower's a low company. I'm going to skip out on my little bonus and just take second. Now that 2 people have it, he has to actually make a decision.
Yeah, talk about tiles you can't play. I always have a pile on the side. I just push them in like, this will never get played for the rest of the game. I will never play it. I will die before I play that tile.
Yep.
Also, I'm not in the championship for a reason.
Well, you definitely have a hand of tiles in Acquire, and you want it to be small, but you have a hand of tiles you know you're not playing. So Daniel, like I said, has made a lot of plays that I think have been really impressive. He's utilized his tiles well, even when he had tiles that were kind of in the no man's land. And we can't see all the tiles that they have, but so I can't fully say I like every tile he's played, but from what we know, I like every tile he's played. Get an account on something here.
You also have to remember that everyone who's in this game is exhausted. They've just come out of playing a semifinal, which the slowest semifinal was shy of 3 hours. And they might have stayed up all night looking and practicing games. And most of them were up till 1. Well, I shouldn't say most. They were all up till 1 in the morning. I know this. I was there. So, yeah, there's going to be a lot of things going on. Thank you so much for coming on and doing this commentary for us. You're watching the World Series of Board Gaming right now. And we want to say thank you to one of our sponsors. So here we go.
Hey everybody, we are back, and this is, as you might have noticed, a changed voice. This is Z Garcia. I'm here with Brent.
Jacqueline, the final table list of Acquire this year. And
Oh, fantastic! So we're gonna get some. Yeah, I'm gonna leave all the smart commentary to you, Brent. I'll be.
that's a bad choice.
I'll be filling in for Tom and what he was doing with even less insight, because it's been even longer, I bet, since I've done any decent play of Acquire. So I do want to ask you this before we jump into it and you start telling me what's going on. Looking at it right now, we're about in the first third of the game or so. Who seems to be making the strongest plays to you?
You know, it's not about the strongest plays right now. It's all about the.
Okay, who's making the worst plays?
Austin made some pretty bad mistakes already.
Okay.
Austin's made a huge big mistake putting one right in the middle early on that made that continental giant that's right in the middle.
The 3 stocks.
That was not a good play.
Okay.
But everyone else is playing extremely well. I was super excited when I saw the start of this board with all the tiles near each other. I knew this was going to be a good game where there's going to be some mergers and stuff like that really early and stuff like that, and all the companies are going to be in the same area.
Right, very dynamic, lots of eating.
So it's really hard to tell who's going to be on top at this moment because everybody's going to be low on cash at this moment. This is the crucial part of the game when you have no money to make any plays, and now you're just hoping that you draw that tile to merge a company that you're invested in. That you would love it to be a majority, but if you have a minority, you are definitely thinking right now, I have to do this so I can get some cash.
Right, I need the influence.
Correct.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah.
So I'm super excited. I'm super this is such a good game right now. I'm just in awe. I want to be in this game. And actually, I talked to Alan just like 5 quick minutes before he went in because Alan was just like, "Quick, give me some information." And I'm like, okay, here's 5 minutes of quick information. What can you tell him in 5 minutes about a game you've been playing? for such a long time.
Sure, absolutely.
You can't tell them much.
Yeah, yeah.
So they were commenting earlier how this game's going really, really fast. That's because it's hard for them to strategize since they don't have the experience of somebody who like me who's played this for a lot of their lives. So, and like they don't have the mechanism to keep the memory of who has what and whatever else. So, so a lot of people like who play the game a lot would be like thinking, okay, they have this one, this one. Like, what tiles should I be making? Should I be making companies bigger so that others take over other ones? Like when Alan made that move, if Alan was an experienced player, if I gave him enough thing, that might be a defensive move. So when they didn't understand why Alan did that, it might have been a defensive move. But I'm not sure.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not a defensive move I would have made, but
Sure, sure. But it could easily work against the other players because, again, none of them are particularly experienced, it sounds like, at this game specifically.
correct. So I mean, everybody's going to make some mistakes. That's just going to be a given. You just have to not make the worst mistake, or not make a mistake at the worst time.
Right, right.
So this is the junction where either you can have like two people shoot off to the races, or it depends, because you knew basically who are your partners in the companies you're working with. Like, okay, I'm majority, you're minority. Okay, let's kind of work together. So you know who your partners are when you're experienced players. If you're keeping track, it's like, okay, like in Saxon, I know Andrew has more, but if I'm Austin, I need some money right now. So, but I mean, Saxon's gonna be hard to take over. It's pretty big.
Right. Yeah, we just saw there Daniel growing worldwide. Display there.
Imperial.
Yeah, see, he's running out of money. He can only buy
Yeah.
one stock. He
Yeah.
can only afford one stock. This is the.
Yeah, they're definitely getting to the
And see
point where
now,
they're hurting for
that's a
money.
great play by Daniel. He goes one up on Andrew in Imperial and now has more.
2 stock tower.
Two times.
So it's
Why,
500?
Daniel?
plus 400.
2
900.
tower. That's not a good move for Daniel. 2 in tower is not a good move. He doesn't even. He's like in third, maybe fourth.
Do you think he's just not able to keep track of that?
Probably, absolutely. But he should know that other people have bought it. If he done a count of tower, which you can do at any time, you can
Right,
ask
you
for
can
a
count the
count.
public ones, yeah.
And you have to announce it to everybody how many are in there. You should do a count. And if 2 is not good, if there's
I'm
let's
gonna buy
see, let's say there's 9, 11, or
one
15. Let's say so there's 15.
one
So there's 10 left.
Imperial and
If you're
2
buying 2 of the
tower.
10, you got to know that there's at least 2 or 3 players with more stocks than the 2 that you're buying. But it probably only had that much money, then that's what he could afford. But that's still
buy
that's a
one
waste of your
Imperial
money.
and 2 tower for
That's an
$900
absolute
in
waste of your
total.
money. I would have bought one more of Imperial.
But we
And
see
make
now
sure-
Andrew just counted them and he's buying as well.
So you just out there.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's one of the big things is you have to keep. Oh, see, he just bought one. Oh, he's buying.
He's buying 2 as well.
Maybe he thinking that maybe
Might be the one who has the most though, and so in his head maybe he's like, okay, well I want to
Yeah.
control my lead because I just saw 2 being sold,
yes.
being purchased.
And that's where keeping track. Like if I knew, like if I was in this game, I would know like what the freak is Daniel buying. I wouldn't know that my tower was not in danger, but maybe he knows that it's in danger of Alan having more.
I'll buy 3 stocks of tower. 600.
Yeah, so right now we have here the money they each have, and this is liquid cash that they have. This is what they have in hand. We have Austin with 300. We have Andrew with 700. Daniel has 3,200, but Alan has $5,000. So 1,500 if you want to use the same parlance. So they do have some money. A couple of them do have some
And
liquid cash.
this is the part of the game where that having that money and having that knowledge of what companies you can take over of the people who don't have money. This is where you need to strike,
Right.
and especially if you see that they're in the emerging area, and especially if you control a merging tile. If you have a merging tile and like, okay, I just need to take control of festival because I have the tile to merge into festival, then you're like buy festival, buy festival, buy festival. You just have to buy enough to be to have the most. if you're behind somebody.
And I guess ideally you're hoping to merge with somebody that has no money so that they will sell them instead of convert them.
Yeah.
You want to force them into, well, take the money, don't take the stock exchange, right? And that way you won't have any in the new sort of bigger company.
It's still like the early part of the second stage of the game. I wouldn't do 2-for-1 for the bigger company yet.
Okay.
Especially because these guys are a little bit more inexperienced, because there's so much room to make more companies. Because all the companies are in play, any tile that can create a new company is temporarily unplayable.
Right.
So these tiles you cannot play. So in general, at least one person has probably one of those tiles to start another company. So
Yeah, as soon as one gets gobbled
that trading 2-for-1 might not be a good idea, especially if you have majority or minority, because it's going to be made again more than likely, and you can make money off of it again.
Right.
Which is what you want to do at this stage. You want to get as much money so you can buy as many stocks, more stocks than everybody else, be in as many companies as you can that are going to be merged at this stage. And then once you start to get at the end of the second stage into the third stage of the game, then you start going into getting the trading into the bigger companies and getting those stocks, because they're going to be expensive at that stage. And then trading 2-for-1 is actually, because the two, that might be like worth 300 each, but the main companies, their stocks are going to be 900 each. So you're trading $600 worth of stocks worth of 900, which is obviously you're making money. Doing 2-for-1 at this stage is not a good idea.
Install tower.
There goes Daniel buying some more tower.
So the only reason I could see Daniel buying more towers, he hopes that when it gets taken over, he's going to, because it's cheap, he can trade 2 in for 1. And I would be hoping that it would be Continental taking it over, because those stocks are worth more. The Saxon, not so much. It's a 2 for 6. And if it merged, it would become a 9, which would mean it would still be the same amount of money. The 6 and 9, they're all worth 600. But,
I'm gonna buy with
but
some
the difference between that
$100
and
to a
the
tower.
Continental becoming a 9, they would be jumping up to 800 each. So changing, $400 worth of stocks into $800 stocks is better.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
You always want to be making money on your deals. See, if you just sold the stocks back for money, he paid 200, he's getting 200 back. That's just a waste of your cash that you could have put into something else that might have been merged. Because at this point, you have no control unless you have the tile to merge companies. So you have to hope that other people are going to help you out, which is a horrible part of the game.
You sort of need to throw in with someone a little bit, don't you, at this part?
Yeah.
And I'll take 1 stock of
Is
tower.
that
We're making a company? You made a company. You can't do that. All the companies are out, aren't they?
3 stocks of festival.
You put that tile down, that's not a legal play.
So that was
unless we can't see, it's possible we were missing something up close that he
800.
that's already part of a company, but I don't believe so.
Doesn't look like it. Looks like an illegal play. Should we go tell them? You made a company. You can't play that card. That tile.
Sure, we'll figure it out there, and if if it indeed was a misplay, they'll catch it and fix it and retroactively deal with that.
Okay. Because that looked like a tile that made they'll need to stop this.
Yeah, it looks like
that's not a legal
He
play.
expanded American. It looks like American's tile. This is very hard to see. It's on the second line.
Oh, there it is. You see, yes, because Americans copying the tile. No, I see it. You're right. Thank you. Thank you so much. That blue is just merging in with the black. You can't see it at all. I'm sorry, everyone. Got me all excited there. I only watch this stuff live. Yes, I can kind of see the blue against the black now. But
It's actually easier to just not see the numbers.
yeah,
The number and the letter.
That's true. There was like a little black hole there. These guys are playing so fast. This would bother me so much that I couldn't keep track of who had what stocks.
Yeah, they're really zipping by, yeah. All right, let's see. We're back around the table here to Daniel again, it looks like.
And see, they fought over Tower, and I don't think that's a good move either. Tower is still only a size 2, and when it gets merged, they're only going to make like $2,000 for majority if you are the majority, and 1,000 is your minority. That's not really, in my opinion, worth fighting over. Like, I would have gave up on that. Like, you can see, there is one tile that can make Tower bigger. I mean, there's a couple, obviously, but I mean, there's quite a couple of tiles that can also merge into it. This is where the strategy comes into which ones you need to invest in and which ones you need to just say, no, I'm not fighting over that. And this is where the experience comes in, obviously.
Yeah, it looks like Andrew spent, basically the last of his money to buy some festival. That puts him in third, unfortunately, at best right now. So that they're all playing very quickly. It's possible they're having a hard time just keeping track of who's leading in which company, who has the most stock because of the speed of play.
Yeah, I don't think that they have the ability to. They don't have that experience of having to try and keep track of everything in your head. Like, I use little mnemonics in my head, and they're different colors and stuff like that. So, big S. Okay, that person's big S because they have the majority of sex, and that person's little S. They have the minority. And I just use that sort of mentality when I look at people, and I just see letters and stuff like that. And I just make words that have the letters to. Okay, they have S and A, so they're South American. And so I just do a little mnemonic so I know which people have which stocks and stuff like that, and which ones are capitals and which ones are small letters. I just use that kind of a thing in my head to know who has what stocks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Anybody can use anything though.
Okay.
Yeah.
And usually, like, people who play the game will buy like 4, and then obviously 13 is the magic number you want to get to if only 2 people are buying this in the stock. So there's 25. So if you have 13, the next closest person can only have 12.
Right.
If 3 people are fighting over it, then 10 is usually the magic number if everybody's fighting equally. So you just have to know your magic numbers and know who has what, keeping track of those numbers in your head, which I love. I'm all about the numbers. And actually, it's very important that they follow the rules. And actually, in the finals of the Acquire Ring game, the eventual winner made a $10,000 mistake by he passed the card, but he forgot to buy stocks before he passed it. And he would have, like, the person who ended up buying the stocks got majority. He, instead of making 8,000, he lost 2,000, and it was basically a $10,000 mistake. It was, I thought he was going to lose, but he had actually built enough of a lead to that mistake didn't cost him the ring, but it was such a huge thing.
Right. Yeah, these things, again, like we mentioned earlier, these guys are very tired. They were up late last night. We're not sure how much sleep they got. They've been just burning the candle at both ends now for a few days.
Yeah, haven't been to the final table myself. I do know how they're feeling. Yes, you are absolutely dead at this moment. You just want to get this over with and go to sleep. I remember my night. I did not sleep at all. Basically, you just go in. You have to perform in the semifinal in a game you don't play that much against other ring winners who play very well and perform at such a level to beat them, to go to a final table to play another game you don't play that well, and competing against people who not only won their ring and won a semifinal against other people who won rings, and now you're in this final table and you're just so much brain dead at this moment. What an exciting game. I'm so excited.
Andrew and Alan have placed second in WSBG in the last 2 years, and they're going for the win this year here, of course.
How do we keep this stuff?
I like a game that they're almost pretty much even with knowledge on this game. Like, I think Austin is obviously a little bit less knowledgeable about the four, if I were to say, but I like it that it's almost even and that everybody's has almost a fair chance at this title, which makes it very exciting. For me.
Yeah.
Which
You
is
get to
why
sort of-
I'm riveted in watching this game.
get to
I'm so excited to see how this ends up because this is so exciting.
You get to see them kind of perform under pressure here.
Correct.
It's sort of learning on the job in a way. These guys are all trying to internalize this as quickly as possible. They literally, when the game being acquired was announced, they sort of grabbed that rule books and started leafing through them very quickly, tried to internalize and remind themselves of, or learn really as much of this game as possible.
It's starting to slow down a bit.
All right, so we just had, I believe, was there a merger festival there that's happening?
Well, it looks like one's flipped over, so yes,
Yeah,
that usually indicates a merger when you flip it over, so you can't see the number. And then the merger tile comes out, which is in front of Andrew, which means he
300
committed the
each.
merger. He's the one who merged them. Looks like they're merging into festival, so they're all showing their festival, seeing who has the most. Looks like Andrew has 4. Looks like Alan has a lot. So
So I'm gonna
looks like
trade everything
Andrew's getting
into
the
this.
minority, and
Was
it looks
I-
like Alan is thinking about trading 2 for 1 at this point. Oh, I don't. It's early. I would not have done that, Alan.
Stop buying stuff.
Alan traded 2 for 1 in. Remember, I told you this is kind of the stage that you don't want to do that because you can see there's a whole bunch of places where they can make that company again, and you could have majority. But maybe he only did some of them. I didn't see how many he traded in.
Yeah, let's go.
So it's kind of hard to tell. If
Yeah, he did all of them.
He
Yeah,
did all of
got
them,
it.
did he?
traded
Okay.
in eight,
Oh, okay.
8 for 4, I believe. 10
for 5.
Okay, 10
Okay,
for 5.
yeah. Oh no,
And Daniel,
Alan,
Daniel kept his shares.
because you gotta know that a company's coming again. You can make more money of it and trade into those later. Let's see if that worldwide is 246. It's hard to tell on the board how big it is.
It looks like
Is it-
worldwide is 367.
Yeah, that's not worth it. Not trading in 2 for 1 at this point for a 7 big company. It's not even safe.
Wheel.
This is not the time to trade 2 for 1 yet. Oh, sorry, Yolt's Gaming. We're just trying to teach. I'm just trying to let people know how to play the game better. I think by playing the game and watching and learning from what you're doing is the best thing for how to learn how to play a game personally. That's like I like playing against better players because only by playing against better players do I actually get better. Like I've learned some things from playing in this series that from other people that it's like, oh, that's such a great idea. I've never even thought about that.
Right, these players now, a couple of them have a little more cash on hand.
Yeah, and this is where the game gets exciting again. And this is where the memory part comes into big. You have to know who has what. Oh, wow. Look at me be wrong. Look at Tower went from 2 to 5. And that's just the game.
Yeah, here we go.
Now that Alan has majority in Tower, now it's size 5. Now he's going to get a bigger payout.
Yeah, 800.
If it gets taken over, it could even become bigger and take over something else in that area. That's quite possible. It could be get it big enough to take over
About
Saxon or Continental, which would be huge for Alan if he can get that. That would be such a big play for Alan. This is what's so exciting about Acquire in my mind is that you just never know how this game's going to go. I mean, this is super exciting.
Yeah, the order of
Like to first
operations
place
really
1B
changes
and
this
found
game.
Festival again,
Okay, he's starting
and I will gain
festival
a
again. There we
share.
go.
I'll also buy
Gets his
at
free
100 bucks
share.
each 3 festival stocks.
So
will
this
pay
is
1,000
this is
and
great
get 100
for
and change.
Andrew because if he was keeping track, he should know that he becomes the minority now by starting this company and buying 3. He should know this now if he kept track. So this is a great move because he's going to be minority, even though it's size 2. I mean, still, that's going to be like 1,500, and that's good money to have to buy other stocks. And
Yeah, and it's near some of the other companies as well. Right by Saxon there.
Correct.
It's right by Tower.
Correct. And if Daniel sees that and he can make a merge his Tower into that, I mean, that just makes that Tower company way better. Oh my God, this game can go any way at this point. This is where the game really takes shape. Sorry if I'm getting too excited. This game is so much fun.
Merger.
Oh, there's a merger. So as you can see, he put it on its edge. That's also a way to show that mergers happen. You count and see. So it looks like there's 5 towers. It looks like there's 2 for 6 Continental. So Tower has to be taken over. If there happened to be a tie, the person who made the merger decides which company gets taken over, and that's usually the one that you usually decide what makes the best advantage to you in that
Right.
case.
5 of 5, you gain
No,
5.
actually,
All right, so let's see what these players are holding here. They're gonna lay these out.
$2,500.
So the majority person will get 5,000, which looks like it was Daniel. Minority will get 2,500, which looks like it was Andrew. And now this start at the person who made the merger. They could trade 2 in for 1,
trade
sell the stocks for their
everything
cost,
to
which looks like they'd be like
Continental.
500. Would I trade 2 for 1 in at this point?
It looks like Alan did indeed do that.
Yeah.
He's trading in 2 for 1. It looks like he gave them all up.
2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So it becomes a 12 company, which will make it safe. It can't be taken over by any other company, so it'll stay to the end. Continental is worth a lot. The stocks are worth 500 though. The only reason to do this, in my opinion, is to be to make sure that you are in control of Continental and have majority at the end. 2,
So, 15.
I mean, there's also the fact that if
because you
they...
can make or you can sell it for the money. I don't know if I do 2 for 1. If you're low on money, you might sell it for the money. Like if you're 3rd and 4th, you're definitely selling your stocks for money or trading in 2 for 1.
Mhm.
At this point at the stage, it's a 5 company, which is really good for making the money you made from buying towers. I might sell it for the money if I'm cash low. All your decisions are based on your current situation.
Well, there's also the fact that every company's on the board right now except for Tower jumping out. And there's still a lot of empty space in that bottom
Correct.
right-hand
Like I said,
part of the
you
board.
can make 2, 3 companies down there.
Yeah.
There's so much left in this game that I would definitely think about keeping majority. Now, Daniel made the merger, so he would have had to decide what to do with his stocks first. And then that way, like, if you had the majority, then American?
Alan made the
Alan.
merger, yeah. Yeah, and he gave them all up. So Alan made
so
the merger.
because the merger tile's gone around to Daniel. That's
Yeah.
right. Thank you. Sorry.
Yeah, so he made the merger. Alan made
Yes.
it. He gave them all up. He traded in 2 for 1. I believe Austin also traded in.
I just keep expecting that merger tile to be in front of the person who made the merger, but yes, it does go around once the merger is
There he
happening.
goes. He is also trading. So Daniel just traded in 2 for 1. It looks
Yeah.
like all of his as well.
Yeah,
I think Austin might have sold, instead of trading.
and that's also a good idea because when Tower does come back out, it's a small company. Like I said, if it stays dice 2, you're only going to make 2,000 if it merges. It's not that much money. So it's selling the stocks or selling 2 for 1 is probably your best options.
And then Andrew, we're waiting on Andrew
Is
here.
counting. He's counting Continental.
I'll keep all my stocks of Tower.
He's keeping them. Okay, he's keeping them all, he says.
If you knew that everybody else sold theirs, I might just go down to 4, maybe 5. just because it was a size 5, there were so much more than what it would be at size 2. You get some money. And if you keep 4 or 5, you're going to be in that majority stage if it does get made again. And like I said, if you do make a size 2 tower, the most you're going to make like 2,000 off of it. So I would have sold down at least some of them because they were worth so much at a size 5.
So it looks like right now, are these amounts of money accurate-ish? Yeah, we think that we're pretty close. Yeah, so we've got basically Austin has the least amount of money at the table right now.
Yeah. Again, probably the least experienced.
But Alan and Daniel both have quite a bit of money. They're in the thousands. About Daniel has about $7,000, and Alan a little bit over 9,000.
I'm just looking at who has control of which companies the most. And if this is accurate, Alan and Daniel are pretty much the strongest positions at the moment, based on the stocks that they control and what the board looks like at the moment.
All right, we got Alan there buying a couple of Festival and one Continental.
300. So you will pay 15.
That Continental, again, we'll remind you, that's 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 tiles now. That's a safe company. It cannot be taken over anymore. It could still merge with something else, but it will eat that thing. And if something else is at 11, they cannot touch.
Correct. And then you get what are called dead tiles. If 2 11-sized companies meet and one tile could connect them, then you would show the entire table that you have this tile, and it's called a dead tile because it cannot be played because you cannot merge 2 companies that are 11 or bigger. And then therefore you'd be able to draw more tiles.
That's interesting. We just saw Austin be the one to create Tower. I figured it would be Andrew pretty much on his own having to do that.
No, that's a smart play because you know that Andrew has majority and nobody else has stock because you saw everybody else sell their stock. So you get minority. Again, it's only 1,000, but 1,000 is 1,000.
600.
Yeah, and so you buy 3 more, and you fully expect nobody else to buy any because again, there's no reason to fight over $1,000. So you're spending 600 to make 1,000, and then when you sell the stocks, you get your 600 back. So you're basically giving 600 your money temporary away to get it back plus 1,000 more. So that's not a bad play at all, in my opinion.
Cool.
Because you want to be minority. Like if you can be minority or majority in most of the companies, then you should win.
All right, we are up at Daniel.
Just counting sex again. Counting Imperial again.
All right, these guys are doing a little bit of counting, so we're actually going to take you folks to a little ad. We're going to show you, we've got game theory tables out here, and we want to show you a little ad from them, so let's check this out.
For over 50 years, the stories lived in our minds. Now, they have a home, the Table of Adventure. The first official Dungeons & Dragons table co-created with the D&D team over 2 years. More than a table, it's a storytelling engine. With legendary art, hidden lore, magnetic tools, and in-table power, every detail is designed to pull you deeper into the world. No breaks, no distractions, just uninterrupted immersion. On October 1st, the story changes. Join us on Game Foundry. Claim your place at the Table of Adventure.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Now I'm Chris Yee from the Dice Tower, jumping in here.
With Ted Evans. Nice to get to talk to all of you. And we are coming in hot to a merger. It looks like Imperial is going to be merging with something. There's a tile face up.
Right there, that's the Imperial, or...
Worldwide, it's hard to see. Yeah, it's hard to see. So it's worldwide.
Keeping how many?
Yeah, so we've got, wasting no time making some good mergers here.
I'll also keep all my Imperials.
Worldwide. Now, if I'm correct, Alan started with the majority here. Six shares to Austin's 3.
So the merge complete. Yeah, thank you.
And Andrew stated that he's keeping his shares. So Andrew will be keeping his shares in Imperial, hoping to restart it in that bottom section there. And it's looking like Daniel got the payout, correct?
Yeah, that's what it's looking like here. So yeah, Imperial's off the board, and Andrew is in a happy position where he still has 5 shares. Or no, it looks like Daniel has the 6 shares that he retained.
Yep.
And so he's, happy to have that ownership still in a larger company, Continental and Imperial, blue and orange being the 2 larger ones, so to speak. They have the bigger payouts.
And this is very good for Daniel, even though they are still on quite a lot of money, so they are not starved for money like the other 2 players, and they have plenty of purchasing power here. So we'll see what they choose to shift into with the majorities and the minorities setting in here. We're getting a good indication of where the game is going to end up with that massive Continental in the middle. So I'm looking to see the players probably investing in trying to buy up the rest of the shares of Continental there. That is a hot asset, and they're going to want to get as much of that as possible, since it does look like it's safe.
Now, for anyone watching who's not familiar with Ted, you yourself are also a competitor here at the World Series of Board Gaming, right?
Yep.
And you were helping us keep track of the cash that everyone's doing. So you really have that kind of in your mind, right? Knowing that Austin and Andrew have been kind of hurting cash flow wise for a little bit, so they need to try to get some good injections going on. So Andrew, really hoping now with that huge, the worldwide is kind of the big one on the right side of the map. Is that right?
Yes. So they just merged that with Imperial, and it looks like, if I'm counting correctly, it is safe as well. So we have 2 safe corporations, Continental and Worldwide. So we're really honing in on those stocks, because this board is going to cut in half very quickly.
Yeah, both at 12. And so, yeah, Andrew's going to be pretty excited when that merges south and Tower gets kind of absorbed into the mega conglomerate now of Worldwide. But he also just laid out that tile to connect 2 diagonally non-connected tiles into a 3-size Imperial. So that's good for him. He definitely, I imagine he was holding onto that tile, just kind of waiting for that moment.
Yep, and Andrew's trying to scrap back in this game. He's been cash starved for quite a few turns. Not as bad as Austin. Austin has, I think he's gone maybe 8 or 9 turns without a merger and very cash dry. So they are doing whatever they can to kind of scrap into some sort of merger or cash payout. So ideally, if you are cash starved, the other players have a lot of cash to purchase, you need to get money as fast as possible. And that's one of the main tactics in acquires, is keeping your opponents poor. You do not want them to have the purchasing power to gain any majorities, because majorities at the end of the game are going to be what decides who's going to win the ring, or the bracelet in this case, and who is going to unfortunately fall short. And this has been a firecracker game, let me tell you. When I started watching it, we started off with very quick mergers, and you had 2 players that have had money almost the entire game. I believe the entire game. I don't know that Alan or Daniel ever went even close to 0. I think they merged around 2,000 cash. I was doing my best to track it. We're probably a little off here because it's so hard to track, and but yeah, they have had a dominant foothold on the game as of yet.
Well, and as the previous commentators have been saying, they're playing quick.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely.
There's definitely strength to that, but there's also that harder to track necessarily all the cash in and out, and very possibly also affecting them as players, remembering who is starved for cash. But as players buy fewer shares on a given turn, you can kind of suss out what's the reason for that.
And what's interesting is that I tell every player that I try to help prepare for their semifinals or finals game, especially if you don't know the game very well, take your time. Slow down, assess the situation, see what people are doing, kind of track that, log that in your mind, say this person is buying this many shares. As long as you know the majorities and the minorities, you don't have to know the exact counting in a 4-player game. I mean, you want to, because it does matter in certain scenarios, but as long as you have a good idea, you're in a good spot. But if they're playing so fast, you know, they're scooping up the cards super fast, I would be trying to slow that game down and make critical decisions and tracking as much as possible.
Now, last night I had the privilege of commentating on the ring finals for Acquire, and it was interesting because it was such a very different table, loud, talkative, taking their time a little bit more, and had a chance to really ask these guys, a lot of whom knew a lot about the game. What are the things that you do? People saying things like, I don't worry about necessarily trying to memorize the exact card count of everything, but remembering deltas is one of the things John said, right?
Yep.
I know I'm 2 under Festival, right?
Yep.
You remember the information that you can act on. Because not everything is necessarily actionable. You don't have to waste brain cells right now if you're Daniel saying, okay, how many shares of Tower does everybody have? I have none.
Yeah, right.
Everyone else is happy with it, right? Maybe try to remember who's the lead, but...
And one tip for those of you watching at home, what I do to practice Acquire learning is I play against myself. I play 5 positions against myself, and I have to learn all 5 spots in all 5 positions. So if I can track 5 positions, when I go into a 4-player match, or a 5-player match, I only have to track 4 because I can reference my own at any point in time. And you can do that to practice and prepare for a major tournament just like this. And I do want to transition into a short feel-good story, and something that you touched on, where my first round of Acquire was a blast, and I love talking and making deals at my Acquire table. That is a very reasonable strategy. Of course, we don't want to go too far with it, but you can. My first table can attest. We had a lot of fun, and that's what all the World Series of Board Gaming is all about: meeting new people, wonderful people. I believe someone I don't know if he was first year, but he won our table. Wasn't even supposed to be at our table, and he had a blast in that game. We sat for 20 minutes talking strategy before his next round, and that's what this environment is all about. So if you're not already here, if you haven't been here, you need to come join us next year because we'd love to see you.
The amount of helping each other out, and that idea that you're here for good competition, not just to win, but good competition. Noteworthy here, Daniel, with his purchases, just pulled into the majority ownership of Imperial, and then he also took second or minority ownership of Saxon. And so some good purchases there. I think that he's got a good feel of who he kind of needs to surpass a little bit. He's been doing good with cash flow. The tile placements the last few turns have been a lot of kind of feeling like baiting, the diagonals right there. Like, come on, let's make some big changes happen.
Correct, and if you look at the share counts currently, I feel that Daniel is in a dominating position. I mean, he has a very good read on the shares, and he has a very good read on the board, and he has a very good read on Alan, who we kind of see is the major competitor, since he has quite a bit of cash flow to purchase. So I feel that Daniel is kind of reading into what Alan is doing, but making sure he's 1 or 2 steps ahead of the buy cycle.
And we have the ability to see on our side here that Alan has a pretty good stock portfolio too.
Yes.
Right. He is in first or tied for first in a couple of the hotel chains there. The largest single ownership, Daniel, right, himself with Festival. It's tiny, it's tucked in the corner. I'm sure that he's hoping that that's going to get absorbed here soon. And based on what happens with Saxon, people in the chat have been calling out, there's a possibility for a triple merger. But what might be more interesting for, especially for Andrew, is if Saxon can gobble up Imperial, the Orange Hotel, and become safe.
Yes, and that would do wonders for his endgame scoring, and that would cut this game very short as well. So I'm thinking Andrew really needs this Saxon Corporation to merge into something like Continental. And I'm surprised Continental has not been purchased up yet. I would be probably trying to purchase some of the safe shares. If I have a lot of the money, they're looking for these small little mergers and these small payouts, and that does matter in the end game scoring. But realistically, you want to have the majorities in the big corporations at the end of the game, especially if something like Saxon goes into Continental. That company is going to be worth a fortune.
It's going to be worth a fortune and then really expensive to jump into later.
Correct.
There's that possibility. Yeah, they're expensive now. Okay, it's getting close. It's creeping. It's actually wait, but American is safe, right? The purple chain on the right.
Yes, is that worldwide? I think
Is that
it's hard. It's very
worldwide?
hard for us to see. Yeah.
Is American on the board? Yes, it's in the second row, right? It's that little chain of
Yes.
four.
Okay, I see. Yep.
One D and one E, and then the two below it there.
Yep.
So yes. So I'm sorry. Worldwide.
There's a
is the
glare
same.
on the screen. Yeah, that's throwing us off.
Yeah. So now there's there's that dead space, the dead
Yes.
tile between continental blue and worldwide, the lighter purple over on the right. So that's interesting. You're right. I think that if I have a large amount of cash,
Yep.
I might try to buy shares of Continental right now. Because what's the count? Well, 15 shares. So yeah, 15 shares of Continental are out already. Not a ton of wiggle room. There's only 10 shares left.
Correct. So they need to be purchasing that up right now. I do not know why they are still on the table. Maybe they have a plan. I think they're too focused on the earlier middle game where you're trying to get mergers and acquire money. But once you have the money, you want to be buying the biggest stocks, no matter how much it's going to cost you, because that's going to score you significantly more points or money in the long game.
Yeah, I mean, and as we're pointing out, right? No critique, no criticism at all to these players. Many of them said that Acquire is not their strongest game,
Correct.
right? And so there was kind of an expedited process of saying, hey, here's a few tips of how to keep the game going. And there might have been fewer tips of that end game, that turning point.
Absolutely.
Where Brent, who was just on here, was talking about first third, second third, final third, or the three kind of phases of the game.
Correct.
We're looking at a fairly late phase game because one or two mergers can push Continental into a huge board presence, could really push it towards the end of the game. Or, as you pointed out, if Saxon is able to absorb a little bit more and become safe, now you have three fairly good-sized safe hotels,
Yep.
which is going to kill so many of those tiles.
And the end game of Acquire is very complicated because you have all of this math in your head about, okay, if this merges, if this becomes safe, what's my payout here? The issue with this board layout is if one of those two companies merges into Continental,
Which
we are seeing
right
a
now. Wait, what?
that's not a legal. Maybe they're discarding a tile. They could be discarding a tile.
Okay.
Yes. So the issue that we have with this board is that if those companies merge into Continental, then all you're going to be able to create is little companies with very small payouts that are going to merge into either Continental or Worldwide. So if those mergers happen, if that triple merger happens, then the game is essentially decided by who has Continental, which is why I would be pushing as soon as I can into Continental. I assume the players are holding many of those merger tiles, because that's what I would be doing. If it's not beneficial for me to merge those into and end the game, I still want to put myself in a position to at least get a bigger payout, because you have to remember this is the money game. So fourth place gets $1,000, third place gets $5,000, second place gets $10,000, and first place gets $25,000. So if you can make that money jump by delaying the game and potentially putting yourself into a better spot, that is one of the reasons why this game played out, I think, the way that it did, and why it's been such an action game.
That's a really good point, right? Second through fourth place in all the other games, yeah, it matters for you want to play well.
Yes.
And here, you want to play well. We also want a bigger check.
Everyone could use a bigger check.
Yeah. But what I anticipate as well, in the mindset of someone who's not as experienced of an acquire player,
Yep.
If I can buy a lot of shares, say, of Imperial, and that gets absorbed into Continental,
Yep.
then I can do that 2-to-1 trade in.
Yes.
I'm buying shares cheaper, trading them in for huge ones. And that might be kind of the look they have towards it right now.
Well, and what you brought up is actually an excellent point, because you don't want the other players to be able to trade their shares in, because the merge order matters considerably when you're looking in who can trade in their shares first to get into Continental. That's why I would be purchasing it up. So if they make that merger happen, they can't just trade all their shares at once, because that's how you get more than 3 shares at a single purchase, right? So if you purchase all those stocks up, it's just not going to be available to trade your shares into, which locks them into a fixed set price for those stocks, and it's another way to reduce the edge of differential by your opponents.
Here we go. We're seeing Tower now, I believe, getting absorbed into Worldwide.
Yep.
Which Andrew's the majority shareholder and Austin is the second. This has to hurt for Alan, who is shy of second place by 1 share.
Yep.
6.
And it feels a little too late, unfortunately, for Austin, who is very cash dry.
That's a shareholder bonus.
And then Andrew is just collecting more and more and more.
Yeah, Andrew's set himself up with some very good plays, I think. So, yeah, Daniel not being part of that. Daniel having no shares in it is, so to speak, in just as good of a position, so to speak, as Alan, who invested 6 shares.
Yep.
But Alan will be able to at least do something. He can sell, so he can divest those shares. He can hold on, which at this point in the game, I don't know what the players will do, right? I would try to either get that cash injection now, buy Continental. I don't know that I would hold on to try to start up a new hotel chain and hope for that ownership, but there is still some time. You can see in the south part of the board, the north part of the board.
So what I would do, especially since Tower's only 200 per share, since it's a 2 stock, they're absolutely trading everything into Worldwide. So we're going to see almost all of Tower dumped. There may be a player who is behind, who keeps a share or 2, hoping that they get a payout or a double payout if the players are not interested in purchasing Tower, because now they've put themselves in a situation where everyone wants to purchase Continental, but nobody wants to spend $200 to purchase Tower to hopefully get it back on the board and merge. So it could be a very good play to get back in the game, or at least give yourself value to hold just a single share of Tower, hoping that it comes back, or even, well, you don't want to hold 2 because you want to trade it into Worldwide. But if you have an extra share, I would absolutely be holding that to try to get a payout bonus of some kind, especially if you can form that company right away yourself.
Because if you look at your opportunity cost, you're foregoing selling, like if you had 7 shares in it.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Trading the 2-for-1, absolutely.
Yep.
And your opportunity cost is maybe $300.
Correct.
For that single share, $200 or $300. That's not a bad gamble to say there's still time left that we could get it back on the board, merge it, and I might get that $2,000 payout.
Yep. But now that I'm looking at it, there's only 1 tile on the board that can actually start a hotel. Wait,
No, there's a few.
yeah, no, I think it's just that bottom.
Is it
There's
just?
3.
Yeah, once again, sorry, the American Purple Hotel. But yeah, I think they're all kind of along the bottom.
Oh yes,
in the
yeah. So
middle.
that bottom middle portion, there's 3 links that can start the chain again.
And in the bottom left, that's second row all the way in the bottom, right? You could even create it as a 3 size.
Yep.
That's a big gamble, but once again, if I'm looking at $200 difference, I would buy lottery tickets if for $200 I would win $2,000, right?
Well, and,
With
and
those
how many
odds.
games of Acquire have you played that you were off by like $100? My Phoenix tournament last year, I lost by $100
No
to
way.
qualify. Yes, $100 to get into the finals of the Phoenix. So you can never ignore value. And now here we go, the triple merger mega tile. So who placed that?
I believe Daniel.
Daniel. Yep.
9.
So he is looking to close out this game.
Plus 6,000.
That is for for people who love Acquire. This is like the Joe Rogan meme, right, where they're commentating on the sidelines, right? This is very cool to see this happen in the game, especially live to see. So, walk us through the procedure here for a triple merger here.
Yes, so you're going to merge the smallest company first, and it is going to be acquired by Continental because Continental is the one that must acquire it since it is safe. So they will first resolve the Imperial, and they will resolve that as a single merger. So essentially what's going to happen is they're going to trade all of their Imperial into that Continental to attempt to get a majority or a minority payout in those companies. And then they will trade in Saxon to follow that. It was a huge play. And I think Alan is he's going to regret not buying that Continental when he could, because like I was saying earlier, the turn order really matters when you're trading in your shares. So because Daniel had that tile, he had the mega tile, he's able to trade in his shares first since he made the merger happen, and he's going to snag up all of those Continentals.
Absolutely, and that's the thing. Yeah, if there had been that trickle of purchases throughout,
Yep.
that would have put the onus on players to say, I got to spend money. I can't let Continental get too big, or in this case, traded that 2-for-1 trade.
Yep.
That, like you said, that hurts Alan. I think the most of all these players. Helps Daniel the most because he had first dibs on that trade in.
Correct.
On both of the chains.
Yep, and it's looking from our perspective that he is going to have the majority in the mega continental hotel chain. And he is going to sell his. There is a play to maybe get more value again with that company down below to try to save it. But I wouldn't do that at this stage of the game. You're going to want to take the payout from that. But he is so rich that maybe he would hold a share. That's the only strategic decision that you would want to think about. But getting the most money for your buck is definitely, I think, what all of these players are going to be taking advantage of.
Yeah, and the way that Continental shares are distributed, because everyone's got a little piece of the pie.
Yep.
He's sitting at 10. I think he traded in for a few shares, and so he's not worried about getting that true majority. Like, he doesn't have to get up to 13 shares.
Yep.
They're nice value at the end of the game, but wow.
So I'm why is there still? Did they not trade in their shares for content? Because that's the play you want to make. You want to trade all of your small money shares for the mega corporation.
That's the larger one. Yeah.
So those are still on the board, available to be purchased.
There's definitely still some shares left, but I'm not sure if the chart has been updated. By the way, huge shout out to Brian, who's on the floor there, updating this with an iPad, diligently looking at this. The whole production team of the World Series of Board Gaming, from Kenny, who does the photography and the graphics, to Chris and to Keith, who run the live streams and are responsible for everything that you're seeing here. They're doing a phenomenal job. And so, yeah, we are seeing Brian able to now update some of those numbers, I believe, in real time. And so, yeah, just everything that they've done. Shane, who is the tournament director, who keeps all these procedures in line.
And the judging staff is phenomenal at the World. These people are the top gamers in the world, and they come here to assist in making sure that everyone has a wonderful experience. The judge for this match is Charles Minter. He loves Acquire. I played with him at PresCon. We talked quite a bit. PresCon, shout out to PresCon. You guys should also come to PresCon. I had a blast last year. Probably going to do a satellite again. I don't know if that's been announced or not, but that'd be a wonderful time to have you there. So it looks like he is taking some Continental there. I'm not sure if he's purchasing it.
Gotta hurt to purchase it now,
Yeah.
right right after a
So-
triple merger.
So I think
growth.
I feel like I would have rather traded in my shares because when you purchase after a merger, you're purchasing at the higher price because the merger is resolved. And then whatever the price is based on the tiles on the table, you now pay that price. So trading in some shares to do that cheaper is generally the favored play. But again, these guys are, we don't know their skill levels and acquires. So we're not sure how familiar they are with the game. And it can be very tough, especially with their frenetic pace of play.
And buy 3 stocks of worldwide at a price of, it is now the size of 21, so each of them costs 900.
Oof.
And Andrew making a wonderful play. He is purchasing, it looks like worldwide, because he knows that's his out to win that stock. But it looks like he's already priced out based on the number of shares outstanding and the fact that he can only purchase 3. So it feels like if Austin or Allen are going to purchase just the rest of those shares, then they are going to lock him out of getting a payout in that company, which is very bad for Andrew, which we've kind of seen this entire game where Andrew and Austin have just been 1 or 2 steps behind Allen and Daniel because of their big early merger.
I'm not sure that I have a good feel of who's in the best position. That was obviously a great turn for Daniel.
Yes.
And not only is majority shareholder a good payout, so right now, I believe that Continental I counted was around 27 tiles or so.
Yep.
So at that price range, his first place, the primary shareholder payout at the end of the game is going to be $10,000.
Correct.
$5,000 for second place. Second place is not bad, but that first place is great.
Yep.
On top of the fact that he owns 12 or 13 shares at $1,000 a piece.
And we know that Festival must be merged into Continental. That is not going to be merged anywhere else. It has to connect to Continental since it's cut off. I guess, yes, because American is still on the board as well, and it's cut off there. So American could merge into Worldwide potentially, but Festival is cut off. And then Imperial could go either way. So someone did play one of the tiles that recreates Imperial. It looks like it was Allen trying to get another payout, right? So that's a smart move when you think you're behind, especially in the major corporation, is you want to get these little corporations in the payouts for them at the end of the game, because you also get paid out at the end of the game, the majority and the minority bonus based on what the tiles are when the game state ends.
And the good news for Allen is he is going to get that 5,000 second place payout for Continental, because I believe there's only 2 shares left on the table at this
Yes,
point.
I think there's only 2, and Daniel has the majority locked, so there's no one taking that. And it looks like Allen has the minority locked in there. So we see sort of Allen having the majority in Worldwide and the minority in Continental, but Daniel does not have any Worldwide. So it looks like Allen will have a majority and a minority, but Daniel is going to have the big Continental stock.
Yeah, if we're going to see a merger, I anticipate the next one's going to be the American chain. Once again, it's a little bit hard to see. It's the top 4 tiles are right in the middle of the board. So I would anticipate that one might be next, or the Imperial, which would be good for Allen, Imperial particularly.
Well, and Allen wants American to merge with Worldwide. He wants to juice his stock that he has the majority in, and then he wants to continue building that chain. And he wants Imperial also to merge with Worldwide to get as many tiles as possible for a higher payout bonus, since he has the majority there.
Good.
And then he's going to be looking to end the game as soon as those acquisitions happen. Because he does not want Continental to continue to grow and then his lead to stagnate there.
Now, it's possible that our stock ticker is 1 share behind. It looked like Daniel purchased the 13th share. It's reading 12 still at the moment. But if he did, it's interesting because buying that 13th share didn't really provide him too much value, especially paying it at that higher cost.
Yep.
But what would have happened essentially is that he would have taken away the opportunity for Austin to tie up with Allen. And I don't think that was an intentional move. That was, there's a little bit more of an incident.
And this is interesting because now we do see the merger happening. American is going to be acquired by Continental. So American going into Continental, and there's still shares of Continental able to be traded in. So again, Daniel makes a big play merging into it, and he's going to be the first one to get, those $300 or $400 shares of American turning into a massive 1,100 share of Continental. So realistically, when you're buying that, you're literally getting twice your money for trading in 2 stocks for 1, even at that price point. So 600 is turning into 1,100, maybe 1,200 by the end of the game. That is a huge play if that is the case.
And that's interesting. I wonder how long he was holding onto that tile, right? Because he could have done that earlier. Maybe he just drew into it. But one of the important things about this game that was pointed out to me is that I got a chance to talk with some of the finalists in the ring match yesterday. They said, if you see a tile, if you draw a tile that you say that looks like it's going to be a connection point, you hold on to it until it is the best possible time for you to benefit from it.
Correct, and I'm infamous for holding tiles that can make things happen. If you're not gonna benefit from playing that tile, do not give your opponents money. That's basic acquire number 101. Do not give your opponents fuel to come back and start purchasing shares that you might need later on. So we are getting into the tail end of this game, and it is rapidly closing because now all we need here are 2 more mergers. So 1 Imperial and 1 Festival. As soon as they merge, the game is over because there's no possible play to create a new corporation. So we have only a few more plays, and they need to be calculating their next moves very carefully, but there's not much else they can do since Festival sold out. And Imperial, they can try to fight for the majority or minority in Imperial, but realistically, I think the American play is interesting because I would think that if he had that tile, he would want to make that happen as soon as possible because Daniel's benefiting from Continental. And so, unfortunately, I don't think Andrew had the opportunity to get into Worldwide. So as soon as I drew that merger tile with Continental, if I was Daniel, I'd be playing that thing right away to get it into your company and make sure that Allen is not getting a bigger payout from Worldwide.
Yeah, my guess is that he probably drew into it pretty recently.
Yep.
Yeah, at this point, so the 2 endgame triggers are a single hotel chain hits 41 tiles, and right now Continental is at 31 and Worldwide is at 23.
Correct.
It's possible that we could get a little bit more like a slow roll growth if players want to extend it or if they don't draw into those merger tiles.
Yep.
But if you're Daniel and you're in that position, man, just have him, have those last 2 absorptions because I think that he's feeling very good.
And you know what's really interesting about that too is that you can choose and acquire not to end the game. So even if a corporation is 41 and over or all corporations are safe, a player has to choose to say I am ending the game because you can still place chains on the board as long as they're illegal plays and try to continue growing your company that you might get more money from if you can place more tiles. Then again, the other players are going to want to call the end of the game if you are caught doing that. So it's only going to last a few turns maximum, but that is technically in the rules to try to get more value out of your hotel chains.
And there might be 2 players in a row who, it's possible they say, this is going to benefit you a little bit more. I'm going to do this last placement, pass the bag along and see what the next person does.
Yep.
At this point...
And realistically, it's like Acquire is a very math heavy game, and you have to be tracking. There's a lot of tracking in this game, and if you are not on the ball as to where you're at in the game, it's very hard to make the moves you need to make to put yourself into a position of winning the game. So it's a very complex game, especially at the end, where the moves become fairly simple, but the decisions you can make can affect the overall winner.
Yep, Daniel again, embiggening Continental there, and players are purchasing shares up right now.
Yeah.
Imperial is, I think, yeah,
That's the last thing they can buy. So
Yeah.
they're frantically scrapping to try to get some sort of majority or minority. And so the players, even so, like the turns become easy. So you're not questioning what you can buy or what you can't buy. You're questioning, when do I merge this, and do I have the potential to get a major payout from this that puts me slightly ahead of where the other players are at the table.
yeah, and you know, I know some people very much believe that Acquire has a lot of luck to it. And when you get to a phase like this, you are running a little bit on that luck engine, so to speak. But everything that has happened up to this point is really driving your current standing.
Correct.
You might luck into some good cash right
Yep.
now.
Or some good tiles.
Yeah.
You know, so you can get like the tiles that cause mergers, or the tiles that prevent your opponents from getting mergers. But realistically, this is a game of calculation. And you can tell that the people who are really tracking everything do have an edge. It's like giving yourself the best odds to win the game, essentially. And sometimes you just don't get the tiles. That's kind of the phrase in Acquire. Sometimes you just don't have tiles. But sometimes your opponents don't have the tiles either. You don't know, and you can make the plays that put yourself into position that drawing the right tile can put you into a winning position. So yeah, there is a little luck involved, but the fact that this game has been around such a long time and still holding its strategic weight says something about the brilliance of this beautiful game.
Well, a very similar thing happened a few nights ago with the final for Castles of Burgundy.
Yep.
Right. Yes, dice are inherently going to be lucky, and we saw the player Jim. He rolled doubles on
Yes.
his last 3 turns of the game,
Yep.
or rolled numbers he did not want, and so he had to play a little inefficiently because of that luck.
Yep.
But he had set himself up in such a good position that despite that,
Yep.
he made one less big move than he was hoping to, and it was still enough. And I see Acquire fitting that same realm of game.
Correct.
If you can play the game. Now, yesterday's table as well also had a lot of table talk, a lot of collaboration,
Yep.
a little bit above board, right,
Yep.
above the table. And that's a valid way to play.
Yes.
The way that these guys are playing is a little bit more individualistic, and that's fine.
Correct. That's how I like to play. I like to get in the action and make some deals. And the castles element too is it is dice game, but you know, and you have to navigate that in a way that sets you up like Jim does. And Jim does a very good job of that, in that he doesn't leave it up to chance. He makes sure that he can execute his strategies regardless of what the board situation is. And I think all of the best players out of all of the 16 games are going to want to do that as much as possible. And we see the ring winners being consistently strong players. Like all 16 of our players that won rings this year, excellent players. So no matter the sort of luck in the game, it's lucky to win 4 rounds in a row, but each of those players within those games did whatever they could to suppress whatever luck element was there. And I think in this final table, we've seen excellent strategic play. The ability to purchase shares early in Acquire and make sure that you can merge those tiles and follow the trends and patterns, because you only have 3 buys per turn. So if you're not buying the correct stocks that are going to merge and get you a quick payout, because we saw Alan and Daniel run away with the game because they were able to plan out and read the signals of what the opponents were purchasing. And so if you can read signals based on, oh, I think he's going to merge this tile, you can start investing in that corporation and hopefully get a payout, because any payout is better than no money. And so if you can set yourself up into a position to assess the game state and read what your opponents are doing, or gather information and assess that information, then you can set yourself up into a winning position like Daniel and Alan have done.
You know, Ted, one small correction of something that we said earlier.
Yes.
I think that there is one place on the board where a new corporation can form. Right. It's still in that bottom, the second column over on that bottom square there. So
Oh yes, in between the second column all the way down, because there's 2 tiles right between. So I don't know. They might not even see that either, because I feel like if a player had that, they would probably put it down and start purchasing up a probably tower. So whoever puts down like a tower or an American, it's American off the board.
yes.
And the shares are not updated.
I think that they must have divested the shares.
Yeah. Okay. So you want to put the most expensive corporation, but now that's not possible. So they just took that off the board.
Oh, yep.
Yep. So but in that scenario, you would want to buy the largest tier corporation to get the highest payout at the end of the game, and be the first one to invest in that.
All right, let's see what Daniel can do. He's been the cause of the last few mergers here. Is he,
Yes, he has.
will he continue his reign of terror as mergers and acquisitions master?
And it could be a lot of those tiles are still out of play. I assume at least 1 or 2 of them are withheld by players, and they just want to juice up their stocks a little bit to get some more value, because they don't know the correct assessment of where they are in the game. It's very hard to assess end game points when you're in there, and I'm glad that they're actually slowing down, because the pace of play has slowed down in a sense where, like, you're only placing tiles, you can't purchase anything. But they're taking their time, sort of placing their tile, being careful about it. And I love to see that, especially in a game as close as this between Daniel and Alan. So I'm glad they're taking their time in assessing the situations and trying to do that mental math in their head.
5e.
And as you said, if you don't, so earlier we were talking about that one magic tile that could have started a new corporation.
Yep.
And if I didn't have that,
Yep.
but I did have one of the ones next to it that would have shut it down,
Yep.
I'm absolutely going to play that.
Absolutely.
And prioritize stopping my opponent.
And then we are seeing one of the mergers happen. So Imperial is going to get purchased here and bought up.
6.
And we are seeing, I believe it's Alan with the majority. And Andrew has, looks like 6 there.
So you've got the
$4,000.
And this should make Continental 41 tiles, which would make it safe, meaning that they could declare the end of the game. So we are very close here, and it's very exciting to see who is going to take home the championship of the 2025 WSBG. We're going to try to listen in to some of their discussions as we get to the late game. And at this point, everyone is selling their shares. There's no point holding on to any of that. So they're just doing payouts right now.
I don't anticipate Alan as the person triggering the end of the game. I don't anticipate any reason that he would say, let's keep her going, right?
Yes, because Andrew, he basically, Andrew might just want to get the game over with, because I believe Andrew is very good at reading board states. He's one of the best players in the world. So I think Andrew knows kind of where he's at. And really the only thing that can happen now is Alan getting more tiles on to his worldwide to change that, because Continental's 41 and over. Placing a tile there is not going to change the value of it.
And I don't know if worldwide could even reach another threshold
Yes.
either.
Yeah, so I think there's only a few tiles left that can actually be placed
Is actually
to help worldwide,
Choose to end the game.
because so many of those tiles are interlapping between
choose to
continental and
end the game?
worldwide.
Yes, I choose to end the game.
Okay, cool.
Okay, and we are seeing the end of the game. So it sounds like Alan has ended the game.
So,
I love this. I love seeing, right, that before the count, everyone's shaking hands. Because everyone recognizes, everyone here's a great player. Everyone deserved this seat at the table. Everyone earned it.
Correct. So now they're going to do the smaller corporations first, because they'll get the payout bonus from Festival, and then resolve that before they move on to the save corporations.
13, I got the.
And of course, we know Daniel has had the majority in Festival for quite some time, so he's going to get a payout. It's 4,000 for Daniel, and 2,000 for, it looks like Alan has the majority or the minority. So they're going to get a small bonus from Festival, and then sell all of their shares for $400 each.
400, so it's 2,000.
Yeah, if I were Daniel, I would be feeling pretty good about the fact that he has majority shareholdership in both
Correct.
Festival and Continental. And if our stock tracker is up to date, right, and it's possible there's a few little things.
Yep.
Even tying for second place in American, or sorry, is it? It's worldwide. That's on the
Yes,
map, right? Okay, worldwide.
yep.
He's out of.
So it's interesting too, because the 6 shares of Continental for Alan, also they play a factor here, because not only is he minority, but he's getting 1,100 per share. So realistically speaking, at the end of the game, you want your major competition to not be in the 41 and over hotel chain. So if we know Alan is already kind of fighting with Daniel for the top spot, those 6 shares could be very important, because you're getting 60, 12 times 6, you're getting about 6,000. 7,000 in a payout just from those shares. So you're offsetting some of the shares that Daniel has. And that's very important, because he has 0 shares of worldwide. And Alan looks like he might be having the majority or tied for the majority based on our counter. We'll have to see as they lay out their shares. So now they're doing worldwide, because that's that's the second
9,
biggest corporation.
12, 14, 17, 21, 26.
And we're hearing it's 26. So that's going to be $900 per share for worldwide, $9,000 bonus, and $4,500 minority bonus.
But it sounded like Andrew and Alan both tied at 9,000, so they're going to add up and divide that total payment there.
Austin and Alan, I believe.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
And that's very good for Alan, because that gets him more money, and Alan is not a threat to him to win the game. And so that's a very, very good payout for Alan, and that could potentially swing this in his favor to decide the world champion.
Based on a gut feel and what we've seen, it feels like it may be between Daniel and Alan, but I'm absolutely not writing out at all Austin nor Andrew here.
Absolutely. You never know.
68.
6750.
You round up.
68. Each gets 68.
You round up, yep. So they're splitting that payment there.
Yes.
7,000.
And acquired ties are rounded up. So if it's an odd number, they make sure that they get the extra.
So like each size is this one.
Daniel there with his calculator. Yeah, I'm sure that he's kind of factoring in everything.
Yep.
Like, oof, that's $6,800 I wasn't part of.
Yep.
51.
81.
Now they're divesting those shares at $900 a pop. Charles, once again, the judge here.
Yep.
He did a great job last night. I wonder if he's as surprised as most people were that he's back on shift for the finals today.
I saw Charles walking by after they drew the game, and I could see a look of excitement in his face, because we wanted to see an Acquire final, the people who play Acquire and love the game, and so I could tell he was genuinely very happy and excited to be able to see these high-level, best players in the world compete at a game that many of us love.
6.
So here we go. The major payouts here. We know that Daniel is the majority. We know that Alan is the minority. We'll see if anything throws that off, but it doesn't look like it does. Looks like Austin has 3 shares. Andrew has 1. And they're going to start the final scoring and final payout for the major corporation. Now, just a reference, Continental is actually the 3rd tier, the highest tier, the most expensive one. So it's going to get a major payout. So $1,200 each per share, a $12,000 primary bonus, and a $6,000 minority bonus, which is huge. So that's going to offset some of the differential that Alan had with his worldwide advantage going over to Daniel because he's getting such a gigantic payout.
Right.
And they're starting to lay out their money. This is very, very exciting. I know everyone's on the edge of their seats, probably out in the hall watching. We are just excited as everyone at home and at the convention to see how this wraps up.
You win. It's like 40 something. 50 something.
All right, 5.
Yep. Congrats.
All right, count them.
Just pretend there are 2 less zeros to make things easier, if that helps.
They just got 30, that's 30,900. That's 30,900 for it.
30,900 for Allen is
30,900
what he's
Harold.
reporting. It looks like Daniel has that beat.
Alan?
39,300.
39,300. Excuse me.
Okay. Congrats.
Nice. 26,500. I chose 5,000.
40 something, 50 something.
Daniel's still making shakes.
Big money over there. Austin looks like 26,500.
50.
We're calculating Andrews as well. It looks like
Looks
like Andrews around 30,000, and Daniel is going to have over 50,000, which makes Daniel your World Series champion for 2025. Alan, the runner-up, gets second place in $10,000, and it's looking like I think Andrew's going to be taking third for $5,000, and Austin unfortunately could not recover after the unfortunate start. Going to be taking fourth, which is still $1,000 for playing board games. How cool is that? But Daniel taking home the prize. You see all of the players really congratulating one another, paying respect, and ensuring that the competition stays friendly and a sense of atmosphere that everyone can appreciate.
Now, speaking of that fantastic atmosphere, first off, huge congratulations to all 4 of these, especially to Daniel. But one of the biggest things that we're going to see, we're going to be jumping here at the end of the stream to the last live stream. You don't want to miss the closing ceremonies, the awards. John Hagmeyer, the president, is going to be there, and he is going to live up to his nickname of Johnny Christmas.
Johnny Christmas, and everyone loves Johnny Christmas. He does so much for the entire community of board gaming, so much even more out of WSBG as well. And you can only appreciate everyone here, the staff, the players especially, who come and make this event the best in the world. We have all of the best players in the world here. We have the best competition. We have the best setup, the best staff, and John really does a great job of bringing it all together. I think we can agree on that.
And setting that example of sportsmanship, excitement, and love. Genuine, love for gaming and love for gamers.
And I love that because this competition really, we didn't have any issues. I at least I didn't hear of any issues of unsportsmanlike, of people, yelling at each other, getting upset. It was all support and love and making sure that everyone was walking away with an excellent experience that they can take back to their real lives, because that's what this is important. If you're spending your money, if you're spending your time, we want to ensure that you're getting the experience of a lifetime, and that's what I've got. I cannot take a lot of time off every year. I choose to spend my time here around these people. I spend most of my time socializing, actually. Like, it's hard not to like,
Yeah.
it's hard to get games in because you're seeing so many people you love and so many people that you love to see. So
yeah, to see a celebration of that, join us for the last stream, the award ceremonies. Thank you, folks, for coming out to this great game of Acquire. My name's Chris Yee,
my name's Ted Evans.
and this is the World Series of Board Gaming.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vassell. Thanks for watching this video. Check out our channel. We have a lot of videos on our channel. We have live videos that go up each week, from live Q&As to videos where we take a look at the newest stuff on Kickstarter, crowdsurfing, to top 10 lists and more. There's lots of stuff on this channel. We encourage you to explore it. You can find out more at our website, dicetower.com. I'm Tom Vassell. Thanks for watching another video on the Dice Tower.